Happy Friday, everybody. Leela again, and I'm just sharing a couple of ideas that you could use in your studio to keep your students occupied during their off-bench time. And people have been asking, okay, what are the logistics behind this off-bench time? And I'm not going to go into detail about that today, but if I had a copy, I would hold it up. I wrote a book called The iPad Piano Studio about 5 years ago, October of 2013 it came out. I can't believe it's been that long ago already. And unfortunately, I don't even have a copy of it to show it to you. That's terrible. I got to get my hands on another one. It is available at Amazon.com and you can find it there. It is now distributed by Alfred Publishing, which is a really cool thing. But I self-published it and it offers kind of an inside scoop on what I do in my studio. But I hesitate to, tell you, oh, go out and get it. I mean, it is 5 years old and technology changes. But if you are not well versed in technology at all, you're not sure about what the iPad is, what does iOS mean, all that kind of stuff, then that would be the book for you. And I could put a link to that in the comment section when I'm finished with this video. But I'll just start right into this week. All of my students did a little bit of banking. I hand out music money all the time. I store it in a nice little case like this. And I use it for all kinds of things. I will say, okay, come back and make sure you add all your dynamics, $50 for adding all your dynamics. And I will give them a $50 bill if they add all their dynamics in, and if I can hear that. Or I'll say, oh, what's the name of that key? And they'll say, oh, that's F sharp. I'll say $5 for being smart. So eventually they earn a whole bunch of money. And then I run out of all my cash. And so then we have some banking time. I collect their cash. I put it back in the bank and we put it on their little credit card. I made little credit cards with my studio logo on it. And we just record it and we cross off things because eventually, once they get $1,000, they can get a punch off of their little card that I make. Now, these are cards that I make. These are not real gift cards, but once they get 5 punches on here, they get a real Target gift card. Now, I did this a long time ago because I was really tired of having the store in my studio where I would have prizes and they could go shopping with their money. It just made my life a lot easier. And I will put a link into the comment section where you can find out all about this and you can get these little things for free as well. It really has saved me so much, and the kids like it. It's probably not as fun as shopping for little trinkets, but guess what? I found all those little trinkets in the bottom of their bag anyway. They weren't doing anything with them. So now they've got something more concrete, like a Target gift card or Chick-fil-A or Starbucks. I've added App Store, those kind of things. So they like it. Now, after we count up their money and they've settled with me in the bank, then I had my younger ones go to my first classical music app. It looks like this. And if you've been keeping up with my videos, I've been having all my students study from the classical period. And so when I go to people, you'll notice there's 2 classical composers, Mozart and Beethoven. So I asked both the younger students to read through this. Now, the beauty of this is that they don't have to read, they just tap.
We often use a composer's last name only. So Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart is just Mozart.
So that's what they hear, and you can tap on everything, and it's quite interactive. So everyone listened to Mozart and Beethoven. Now my older students, ooh, I forgot one thing. I'm gonna have to go run and get it. They listened to an app called The Orchestra, which somebody was reminding me of this app, and so I made sure that they went, I got to this app, and there are 2 symphonies in here, one by Haydn and one from Beethoven. So I had them listen to both, and what's really unique about this app is that you can see the score going past as the orchestra plays, or you can see the orchestra members themselves playing close up. It's really quite spectacular. I remember it being my most expensive app that I ever purchased. I don't know how expensive it is now, but I think it was like $14, which was quite a bit of money back in the day. Now, I'll be right back. Okay, just about forgot. Thanks for your patience. While they were listening to this orchestra and engaging with the app, I also had them read up on an article in here all about Haydn. And I do not give my students very many theory books. But once they move into middle school and into high school age, I like this theory book. And it's put out by the TCW group, Three Cranky Women. I'm sure you've heard of them before. They have fantastic products. And I really like this Accelerando 2 theory book. And this, if my students get through this entire theory book, I think they're pretty much set for good as far as understanding theory. So my older students will do a page or two, whatever I assign them occasionally here and there. And so just so you know, I like that. I will put a link to that as well. And then afterwards, I had my students continue with Simply Piano, which I've talked about before, or I had my older students review modes before with an app called Tenuto. And just so you know, when I talk about things, I elongate topics for quite some time. So for instance, modes, I've been talking about them for a little bit at every lesson. We're not really touching on it as much as I want, but I'm building up to what I'm going to do at a group lesson coming up very soon in 2 weeks. And so every week I'm trying to hit one new mode, and I play it for them first, and they listen to it, and I ask, is it closer to a major or a minor sound? And then we start exploring, you know, how's a little bit different, and get under the hood of them just a little bit. And it's a really interesting way for them to not only review new modes, but also relate it to the modes, the major and minor, the ones that they know already. And they've enjoyed that challenge of trying to think through things a little differently. But I will go into detail about that because there's going to be a cool blog at 88pianokeys.me very soon about modes. So stay tuned about that. Then, if you are following my blog at all and my Facebook page, I talked about a new game, and it's not a new game, sorry. It's a new game that I posted on my blog, but I found it a lot of different places, especially on Pinterest, and it's called Kaboom, and I've made a couple of little containers, and Kaboom is just a really pretty basic game. You're thinking, wow, why didn't I think of that? But it's fun, and it requires some popsicle sticks. I won't go into detail about what you need because that's all written out in my latest blog, and like I said, I will put a link to that. But what you can do during off-bench time is have a student pull a popsicle stick from the jar, and I've written out different intervals on lines and spaces, and then you could assign them once they pull one out to draw it on a staff card. I've talked about these staff cards before too. And draw a treble clef, and then they can draw the interval. Now, this is what I like about this kind of thing, is there's a little thing on this that is purposely wrong, and I bet you can spot it. But this is the tendency, is for those stems to go all in one direction, or they're not sure, or they're on the wrong side. So that's when I take the time to explain things like, okay, stem goes down on that middle line, and it goes down on the left-hand side, all those kind of things. So that's what I love about these cards, is it just gives them a chance to notate and transcribe a lot of things. And I would also say that, okay, my treble clef, the kitty cat bottom has to sit right on the bottom line, right there, those kind of things. But you don't have that chance to do that during a lesson nearly as much as you do during off-bench time. So I'm a huge fan of the Hal Leonard flashcards. Yes, they call them all-purpose music flashcards. Here they are, and you get 48 of them for $16.95, and I use these all the time. In fact, I almost should get a new set because they get kind of dirty and old, and I try and clean them with the dry erase cleaner, but after a while they just don't get all that clean. But man, I use them over and over again. And I think that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about. If you are interested in learning more about how to move your studio off bench, I will be talking about that at our 88 Creative Keys workshop, which is July 10 through 13. And it's here in Colorado. It's a beautiful day. We just had one full day of complete rain. I've never seen it like that before. And today it's bright and sunny and gorgeous and green. And Bradley and I would love to see you here in Denver this summer. There's so many things to see here in Denver besides our workshop. So you could definitely plan a vacation around it. And I know some people are already. So if you have any questions, thanks for those hearts and thumbs up. I appreciate that. If you do have any questions, please ask them, and I'm willing to answer if I can, what I can. All right, so have a great weekend, and I will again add some links to the end of this video in the comment section. All right, take care. Bye.